Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I am Nerdarchist Ted. I greatly apologize for the delay. We had somebody who was just a tad bit late, so no worries on that. We'll just kind of rush in and get right into it. As always, find the links down in the description below for where you can find all of these lovely people when they're not here on Nerdarchy. Also down in that description below, you will find a link to our sponsor, Easy Roller Dice, our favorite, or at least my favorite, dice company. There's all kinds of great deals and things going on. And down there's going to be a link for a promo code if you want to get a discount off of your order there. What makes a better holiday present than some cool new dice from an awesome company? So without further ado, I'm gonna dive in, bypass all of the player recaps and what have you. Dealing with the 8 broken vessels of arcane energy. Last session, these illustrious players traveled to the Gravane graveyard and began traversing the catacombs below. They made their way to the Black Skull, which was the nexus of necromantic energies. They battled an angel that looked like it was there protecting the skull. They forced their way through this barrier that was resisting all kinds of magic. Looks like they corrected what the issue was of the disturbance of magic. Chessaline actually reached in and took necromantic power from the skull. Everything seemed right. They stepped back from the skull, and Esperanza, took out the stone, gave it a snap, and all of you began to whisk away, traveling back to the council chambers. But as the stone is snapped and you begin sailing through the darkness, you watch as Esperanza begins moving faster than the lot of you. You watch as she becomes a dot and then a mere speck. She's gone. The rest of you still moving. You begin seeing almost like it's pitch black in a ship, and there's portholes. But through these portholes, you see distant images, places. At a brief glance, you feel that every one of these sites is utterly horrific. When Ordo shouts, "There!" and you watch as not his arms, but his beard reaches out and grasps Avtok and Joshua and Chessaline, and the very tip of the beard traverses the 20, 30, 40 feet towards whatever this porthole, this circle is. And you find yourself all being pulled in this direction. I need all of you to do 2 things. I need a charisma saving throw and a dexterity saving throw.
We were whiskered away.
Oh yeah, we have to roll dice.
Yes, rolling dice. Well done.
I'm sorry, I got very distracted by that pun. Charisma and what now?
Dexterity.
That got me. That got me good. I love that one.
Oh,
Okay.
Why'd you have to pick my 2 bad stats?
That's going to be 19 on charisma and 13 on dexterity because I rolled very well for charisma and very poorly for dexterity.
Well, my number 1 mistake was not using my easy roller die for charisma. I get a 10 on that. Wait, that can't be right. Yeah, that's right.
My charisma is a 3, and my dexterity is a dirty 1.
What were those numbers, Frag?
3 and dirty 1.
So you failed both of them, obviously. But which one was which, Frag?
Charisma was 3.
The nice thing about playing with you, Frag, is whenever I roll really bad, I can always count on you to roll worse.
You do know that
You're
we
welcome.
have inspiration at the beginning of the session.
Yeah, but which one would I
And
inspire?
that's
Which
fair.
one?
What did you get, Jake?
I got a 10 on my charisma. And I got a 3 on my dexterity.
Okay. And how about you, Asa?
Oh man, you guys are rolling with all these great rolls. Well, I got a 21 on my charisma.
Okay.
And I got a 9 on my dexterity.
Anyone do well on Dex?
I feel like Ordo was doing okay until my trunk tripped him, and then he fell into Joshua. And
Joshua was doing okay until his belly tripped him.
Well, I'm
Fall
concentrating on the
floor.
fact.
Everybody breaks
Do you know
their
how-
necks.
Do you know how much thought and effort it takes to grab every single one of you with my beard?
So did anyone get over a 15 on the dexterity saving throw?
No.
All right.
Mine was the highest at 13.
So all of you land prone.
Just a big tumbled heap.
Oof.
You can absolutely just, whether you're on your side, your back, your front, it doesn't matter. But the ground is squishy.
This is just planking.
It's I wouldn't say it's bright light, but it doesn't really feel dim. But as you look around, everything about this place seems off. As you push down into the ground, it gives a little bit, and it does not feel like hard earth. It doesn't feel like wet earth. It feels somewhat spongy, and it's got a texture to it. And as you begin to take in more and more surroundings, you realize that everything, the ground, the plants, the trees, is made of hair. The trunks look like braids that are growing out of the ground, that come out and form almost like willow trees. But as opposed to there being leaves, it's loose tendrils of hair. But what you have noticed upon your landing is several things. There seems to be off to your right is the only thing that doesn't appear to be hair is a pool about 10 foot across of a bluish silvery liquid. And the other thing is the ground is heavily disturbed. It looks almost as if someone has got bedhead in the area where you have landed. Hair has been pulled out of a very nice and neat format that very much looks different than all of the surroundings. And you watch from around several trees in the distance, some coming up from the ground. Creatures 11, 12 foot tall, made of hair, moving almost in a humanoid-esque fashion, though they don't appear to have the normal number of limbs. It could be 3 legs, it could be 3 arms, but all of them odd, separating it at odd intervals as to where and how the hair moves. I need all of you to roll initiative.
Ordo,
don't
are
use-
we inside your beard?
don't use
13.
fire; it'll smell terrible.
Oh god. I imagine Avtalk is like looking directly at Joshua with that line as well.
Just cross-eyed. I put mine in chat,
That is
That's
not
a
a
good
bad
idea.
idea.
which makes my 4th double-digit roll.
What is up with my dice tonight?
We should count your successes in double digits. Like if you roll in the double digits, you've just succeeded.
And oh, geez.
I do have 20 on here.
Well, I guess this initiative of 2 makes sense because I pictured Ordo landing ass over tea kettle and is just sort of up against one of these terrible trees, robe sort of spilling down, beard is in his face as he's just kind of upside down going, "What's going on? Oh no!"
All right. So, Avtalk, let me ask a question here.
I'm first?
No.
Oh. don't know what to do.
You at one point in time, had a beard grown for you by Ordo.
Yes.
Is your beard still there?
Uh,
How much time has passed?
When did you grow it?
it would not be there, I would assume, because at the beginning of every day, for the first few, I think Ordo was doing it until I learned how to do it.
Okay.
And so I guess if it's within 8 hours of waking up in the morning, I would have one and would be missing a spell slot.
Okay. Well, then we will say that you have one.
All right. And I still have not added that. That's second level, right?
Yeah, I'll double check it.
I
It's
do believe so.
All right. There you go. I used a second level spell slot.
So if it was not obvious, Esperanza is not here amongst the lot of you. You can only hope that she has used the item correctly and she's safe back in council chambers to report on what has transpired.
Oh, it is first.
But the lot of you see that there are 5 of these hulking, hairy horrors, call them whatever you want. But they are fast closing the distance, and they certainly seem faster than a lot of you.
Is there any benefit to casting at a second level, like last 16 hours? Or
no.
there should be.
Well, perhaps
All right.
that is an edit that we can suggest. Almost like
Perfect.
I wrote the damn things.
Yeah. I know a guy. Can we get an edit?
So do these terrible horrors appear to have violent intent?
It is obvious, and the fact that 2 of them have just rushed over to Avtok and are slamming into him.
Okay.
As they're slamming into me, I'm like, I have a beard. I'm one of you.
All right. So does a 13 hit you?
Actually, no. AC 15.
Okay.
If that happens.
So 2 misses, but 2 hits, and one of which is a crit.
Perfect.
So that is 31 points of bludgeoning damage.
Good night.
As they,
I will. Don't let him hit you. All right. Well, that changes what I'm gonna do.
the other 2 rush at Ordo.
Sure.
I believe a 10 is going to miss. What about a 14? Does a 14 hit you, sir?
Yeah, I wouldn't have had a chance to cast Mage Armor yet, so I'm at an 11 AC.
Well, you are, if that spell lasts longer, I mean, you are fresh out of battle.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. So it would still be up then. So AC 14 then.
All right. So 2 hits, and ironically, we also have a crit.
Lovely.
So we have 35 points of damage for you. And the 5th one seems to have moved over to the area where the ground has been disturbed. And you watch as it puts its hair down into, for lack of a better word, the soil, the ground, and begins smoothing out the ground. It doesn't look like it's brushing, but the disheveled nature of the ground seems to be changing. Chessaline, you're up.
Okay. First, I use half my movement to stand up. Bonus action to activate my blade song. I've got 24 on my first attack, 20 for my second with my rapier. Do those both hit?
Absolutely.
That's 21 damage total to one of the ones that's attacking Avtok.
Okay.
Thank you.
it slashes through, and you watch as strands of hair go flying. You would expect it to like bite in deep. It does the amount of damage you expect. It's not like it's been resisted. But there is just so much to these creatures that it is turning its attention to you, but it is not dropped.
I sing, shave, and a haircut under my breath. And I end my turn.
Fraginator.
How many are near me?
2.
Am I able to cast Shatter without hitting myself or any of my allies?
I'd say that you could get 2 of them.
All right. Well, I'm going to cast Shatter at 2nd level, but change the damage to Psychic.
Okay.
And that is a DC 16, I think. Where I can't find my DC on here. There. Nope, that's not it. Back into spell. 16.
16. Wisdom or intelligence?
Oh, Shatter, I think, is Con.
Con?
Yes, Con.
One's damaged. Both failed.
All right, so they will take 18 psychic damage.
All right. Joshua.
I'm gonna look at Avtalk and say, well, I have a spell for this that's not fire. Let's see how we do. And I'm going to cast Lightning Bolt.
Okay.
Still gonna catch him on fire.
Lightning bolt, lightning
Shush
bolt,
it
lightning
now.
bolt.
Let's see. Yeah, how many can I catch in a line?
So you could get either the 2 on Ordo and 1 on Avtalk. You could get the 2 on Avtalk and 1 on Ordo, or you could get all 4 of them if you're willing to hit Chess.
Ooh.
Would Chess be willing to take the hit?
Guesstimate how much damage I would take if this goes poorly.
8d6 lightning damage.
Go ahead,
Dexterity
Chess.
saving throw.
Hit
I-
Avtalk, he's already dead.
That wasn't
Have
enough.
my inspiration.
Oh, I don't know
I
that
really
I've
don't want to, but I'll do it if you really want to do it.
I don't know that Joshua is the hit his teammates type of character. So
That'd be a
I'm
first.
going to go for the 2 on Ordo and the 1 on Avtalk.
All right.
DC. Oh shit, it was right here. 16. Where's my other D6? Do I only have 5?
Passed.
I only have 5.
1 passed.
Okay. 8d6. Okay, so I've rolled 5 out of my 8.
Ordo, you're up next.
I would like to make an observation about these things.
Absolutely.
There are 5 of them.
There are 5 of them. 4 have actively engaged you in combat.
Is there 2 fairly large ones, 1 really small one like medium sized, and 1 short and stocky?
No.
Okay, they're not fur versions of us then. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I will use my bonus action to like kind of see if I can discern a true name for one of them. Which
Harriet.
even if they don't have a name, I would still charm it. And that's a DC 16 wisdom saving throw for the one that's closest to me. I don't really care which one it is.
Okay.
And that's 33 damage in total, by the way.
Okay. It passes its save.
Okay. Well, it's not charmed.
Ordo, are you done there, Joshua?
Yep, I'm finished.
All right, Ordo, you are up.
All right, so I still got 2 of these hair things on me.
Yeah, 2 of them have just been zapped by lightning.
Ordo kind of getting knocked around a bit by these things, quite a bit actually, you just see Ordo's beard just sort of split and reach out to the sides and just slam into the ground, pushing Ordo up to a standing position.
As you do so, I need you to make a charisma saving throw.
Okay. I will do that. I'm going to use that point of inspiration. Whoop. And I'm going to apparently lose a die on the floor. Not a D4, so I'm not so worried about where it went. All right. Rerolling. Okay, that's better. Charisma, you said?
Yes, sir.
17.
17. So you stand up. Then what happens?
Ordo looks at these two terrible things and says, I did not consent to being touched like that. And you see beard hair streaking down his arms and turning dark and shadowy as he puts his hands together, and you see a pair of shadowy scissors emerges. And then, as a bonus action, as he takes the scissors, opens them part way, and separates them into two separate blades, I am going to Beard Surge to get a second bonus action to attack with both blades of this shadow, if you will allow that.
Do you just cast Shadow Shear?
That was
Shadow
so
Blade.
cool.
So because the Beard Surge lets me take a second bonus action, I'm going to make 2 attacks. Let's see.
Go ahead and give me. I know I'm asking for a lot of checks, but there's
That's fine.
Can you make either a perception or insight?
I can try. Insight is wisdom. That's an 18 on insight.
So as you stand up and cast your spells, and I was looking at your description and your movements. I had explained, the disheveled manner in which you guys all appeared, and Ordo's specific process is he does care about his appearance. So you've managed to aright yourself, and your beard is now straightened and proper. So as you begin to cast this spell and your beard falls neatly in front of you, you see that these creatures have stopped looking at you aggressively. The two in front of you.
They have stopped looking at me aggressively.
Yeah, they are like in this instance, you see that like they are turning their shoulders, like they're going to head over to where the other one was. They're turning in the direction of where the one is that's trying to smooth out the ground.
I am going to hold my attack action and shout to the others, make yourself presentable. Quick, straighten out your clothing. Joshua, fix your hair. Avtok, stop bleeding so much.
Speaking as a free action, you still have your action to use.
So I am going to hold my action to do that attack. If any of them continues to attack my friends, I have.
You still have 15 foot of movement. You could get over towards Avtok.
I think I would move to Avtok and just stand there at the ready in case they do attack him. If they do attack him, I'm going to attack.
All right. Well, the two that are on him do appear that one. I'll use the same insight. One appears to be turning towards Chess. This is the one that she swung at. But the one of the others that was attacking Avtok does appear to be continuing the assault.
Well, it appears as though we have some unruly hares here, and I will attack.
Go for it.
Each one of them once. So the one on Avtok is going to be a... what's my attack? It's going to be a 19.
19 hits.
The one going for chess is going to be an 18.
18 hits.
So they will each take, as I strike them with shadowy blades of scissors, the first one is going to take 7 points of psychic damage. And the second one is going to take 11 points of psychic damage. Leave my friends alone! And I'll just sort of reach into part of my robe and just drop just a small square of handkerchief down at Avtok and just say, seriously, you're bleeding all over the place. And I believe I have exhausted everything plus an extra bonus action.
Right.
So
they are continuing their assault. The one turns towards Chess.
Have at me.
That is going to be an 18 and a 17.
Neither of those hit.
All right, so they slam these almost masses of hair at you, and you manage to juke and deflect. You watch as several strands of hair fall at their at your parry, but it doesn't seem bothered by it. We got a 14 at you, Avtok.
That will miss, but I don't know. Did I actually stand up, or did they attack before I stood up?
I'm assuming you stood up.
Okay, I didn't want to cheat you out of advantage.
Yeah, no, that's good. I got an 18 to hit.
That one will hit.
So that is going to be 13 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, I'm still up. Barely.
And you watch as the other two that are damaged. There is a momentary look in the direction of Joshua as they go over to assist the third. Chess, you're up.
Okay. So as the tendrils of hair swing at Chess and she darts nimbly around them, you see her come alive. She is hyper-focused on this fight. Magic swirls around her and a cool spectral voice echoes in the area around where she stands, an older female saying in a calm tone, "I did say I would aid you." And the translucent figure of a tiefling woman in an outdated dress appears writ large above Chess with her arms extended all the way around like an embrace. I cast Spirit Shroud as a bonus action. So both of my attacks are 17 to hit. Do they hit?
They do.
Okay, so it's going to be...
Are you focus firing on one?
Yes.
Are you focusing on the one that's attacking you or the one that's...
Yes.
Okay. What do you got?
8 piercing, 3 necrotic for 11 total in that first one.
Okay.
And 4 piercing, 5 necrotic for 9 total on the second attack.
So total of 20.
Yes.
And it is still standing. It does not look great, but it is still standing.
That's it.
I will look up to Ordo, like, do you have a beard comb I could borrow? Try and make myself pretty like he said to. Straighten myself up, see if they quit attacking me as well, because I cannot take another hit.
Well, he's currently holding two scissors like blades.
That was mostly just for flavor.
Okay. All right. So we'll say you grab one off of his belt.
Perfect.
Go ahead and make a charisma saving throw at advantage.
Oh yeah, Ordo absolutely has a belt that has like shears and combs and everything on it.
A charisma saving throw with advantage. All right. This.
Hey, Avtok, it's a switchblade comb.
I rolled 2 18, so 17.
All right. So a lot of you watch as the beard gets straightened out by Avtok, and as soon as you stop, mid combat, this thing is just trying to slam at you, and you're, juking and jiving away. And as it does appear to get a more, pristine shape to it, the stance of the creature and the positioning automatically changes, and it begins looking at the one that's now fighting Chess and the one that's on the group that's over at the ground. The ground looks to be in much better shape than when you first landed not all that long ago.
Okay.
But
So that was my action, and I don't think I have any bonus action spells.
sure.
So I am done because I'm scared to move.
Sure. Joshua.
Joshua hasn't actually stood up. I lightning bolted from the ground, but I will stand up and straighten my jacket.
I feel that in order to get that positioning, you had to have moved.
Oh, that's true. I rolled. No, okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you would have rolled over there, I would have given you that. But
No, you're right. I probably would have had to get up and move. All right. So still, I'll do the straightening my jacket and look at Ordo and say,
well, other than a cursory glance, you don't feel that you are disheveled. Your hair seems to be in good condition. You don't really have a beard, and your clothing is fine.
Asa,
That's what I was gonna tell Ordo. I don't need to straighten myself up. I always look good.
You missed an opportunity to say you did the electric slide.
Oh, buddy. Nah, I think Joshua is more of a moonwalk kind of guy.
Yes, but you cast lightning bolt.
I know.
That's where that's coming from, man. Well done, Frag. I'm going to give you an inspiration for that one.
Heck yeah!
I should have given you one for the the whiskered away, but I held back. So I can't deny that one, especially since I like the electric slide.
Perfect.
All right. So what are you doing there, Joshua?
They're still attacking Chess.
It does appear that there is aggressive intent, although it might be subsiding. You're not sure.
Okay. I will hold my action and give Avtok a sad look and sort of start to create a fire below one of the hair things. And if it attacks Chess, I'm going to cast Create Bonfire underneath
You
that
guys
creature.
need to prepare for me to be the pain in the ass today.
Yep. So I'm holding my action to cast that spell once a creature has attacked Chess.
Okay. Ordo.
Ordo, cast Nair.
I mean, can I tell? Are they still fully aggressive to Chess?
If you would like to make a again perception or insight, feel free.
Bold of you to say make and not attempt. Let's see what happens with this die. Well, that wasn't good. Well, it's a 12 on a insight.
So it seems to be holding back. It's hard to tell. You aren't quite certain what these creatures are, and while there is almost a face that's there, it's a scenario that it hasn't fully disengaged, but it is definitely lessened and interpreted. It looks like it's trying to interpret what's going on because it's been pulled away from its initial target. That's I think the best answer I can give.
I will take my two Shadow Blade halves of the scissors and put them together for just a moment and just say, "Stay your hands unless you wish to be trimmed away." And then I'm going to hold an attack.
Cutting words.
What language?
You know what? Because I never get a chance to use this, and I think given that we're surrounded by hair, I'm speaking in Beardic.
Okay.
Ooh.
So, are you done thereafter?
Yeah, I'm just holding any attack action, so I'm just using the speaking and the insight check.
So the creature does disengage away from Chessaline.
Do I get an attack of opportunity?
It disengages.
Oh, okay.
It disengages and moves over to the other four that look to be almost done fixing the ground, and you watch as some of their own hair kind of like leaves their body as it smooths out the ground. Now that there's not anyone peskingly trying to bludgeon any of you to death. Over the next 6 seconds, none of them seem to initiate any further violence. Do any of you attempt to initiate further violence?
See, unfortunately, when we had the option to take on the spirits back in the necromancy catacombs, that came with a trait, and the trait that I picked was that once the fight starts, it's scorched earth. So unless somebody wants to grab me and stop me, Chess would totally be pressing this.
If you start to go after him, Avtok will I'm assuming he's pretty much on the ground at this point. I've only got 3 hit points. So as you start to go away, I'll try and grab your ankle or something with my trunk. Be like, please, for the love of the gods, don't.
Yeah, that is probably enough to at least trip her and stop her from doing something very foolish. But you guys see very much that the impulse was there as the spirit that was surrounding her sort of breaks and dissipates.
So 30 seconds later, so five rounds, you watch as the ground has been smoothed, and the 5 creatures, the 4 of which have been damaged, they smooth their own hair out a little bit, but they begin heading back off in opposite directions, kind of you would gather in towards wherever they had come from. And yes, Frag, there is a little similarity between this and the Codex Alera books, which is one of my favorite series. So a little bit of inspiration there for sure. So what do you do as they begin to head away, and you realize that some of you have been badly injured, and Avtok is severely injured?
This is the first moment where Chess realizes that anybody's even bleeding. She was so into that fight that she didn't register that anybody had gotten hit.
I think as they're walking away, and once it's clear that they mean no harm, the shadowy scissors just sort of go and dissipate. And I imagine just a few loose hairs looking like trimmed split ends just sort of fall to the ground. And then Ordo collapses onto the ground next to Avtok. Thank goodness they left. I don't know how much fight I had left in me.
Are you guys kidding? That wasn't even shit.
That might have been a
Just glare
Harris.
at Chess.
I'm almost as bad off as Avtok is.
And
I'm
slowly she's
missing-
starting to realize that people actually got hurt in that fight.
I'm missing 41/44 of my health. As an estimate.
Same.
Since we don't have a healer, I can say those numbers.
I'm missing 35
Unfortunately.
44s.
I don't have anything that could help with that. The only heals I have are self heals.
The only heal I have is kill myself to heal someone else.
Oh wait, isn't Speranza our healer?
Yeah.
She is?
Pretty much.
Why do you think I'm for the love of the gods? No.
Esperanza happens to be your healer, for lack of a better word.
She has a healing spell. She is the healer.
So what
All right.
what do you do in this moment? There are these bizarre, if you want to call them, trees around. There is this bluish silver pool of liquid that, as you kind of look at it, you see the edge of the pool, the ground, the hair, if you will, kind of pulses every 30 seconds or so. And the lot of you realize that as you're kind of stepping upon the ground, you know, again, it squishes as you move. It eventually, like, it's not like wet earth that you sink into it, but every step it gives. It's weird, and certainly takes getting used to as you begin moving around. And if as you could gather, messing up the ground possibly causes these things to approach, perhaps moving with caution might be the best thing to do.
Is this
gonna
where you're
check
from,
out the-
Ordo?
I just give Avtok a look.
I want to check out the pool.
I am a dwarf. But I've
Well,
learned.
that wasn't a no.
Right? Like, I'm not being racist. I'm being areaist. I don't know.
Beard cyst.
Yeah, I'm being beardist.
I am from Silvery Moon.
That's right. I forgot we had this discussion.
You did bring us here, though, didn't you?
Did I?
Wow.
You don't remember making the conscious decision. It's up to you as to whether or not you remember, pointing and saying there. But
What I do know is that we were traveling through the spaces in between, rather haphazard, and we needed a safe place to land. I acted quickly, and perhaps rashly, but I did not deliberately choose this place.
Any
I have
idea
a
how to get the?
hypothesis.
your beard reaches up, grabs what would be the collar of your shirt, and points at the ground.
Wait, is my beard basically acting like Doctor Strange's cape?
If you want to interpret it that way, possibly.
I'm like, what? Oh, all right. And I will take a closer look at the ground.
Go ahead and make an Arcana check with advantage.
Arcana. Entered. Will be 2 easy roller die. With advantage, that's a 21.
So you are fairly confident, with vast amounts of studying that you've had, and the fact that you've drawn quite a lot of power from this place. You are in the beard dimension.
I am fairly confident, based on numerous years of study and meticulous practice at my arts, that we are in the beard dimension.
Well, how do we get the follicle out of here?
Well, that is the root of the problem.
So with that check, I will also let you know that the creatures that you had just fought are hirsute horrors. Rumor has it that they typically, manifest on the prime material plane through bizarre collections of beardomatic energy around places where large gatherings of hair, but you have never seen them or even knew that they could possibly occur naturally. But then again, you've never actually been to the beard dimension either, so.
Yeah, I'll basically sort of relay this to everyone about, I've heard of these hirsute horrors, but it never crossed my mind when they were summoned that they were actually coming from here.
Are you telling me you can summon these things?
I'm telling you that when I reach enough power, I won't have to. But yes, very soon I will be able to summon these.
Avtalk looks like he regrets learning any beardomancy at all at the moment.
Has about 10 minutes passed since we stopped fighting these beard things?
Well, what were you doing for that 10 minutes?
I was casting detect magic.
Okay. So I'll pause on that. Jess said that you wanted to examine the pool.
Yes.
What are you doing? Are you touching it? Are
Yes.
you okay? So all right, let's go a little bit further. Are you trying to like scoop some up? Are you just touching it with a finger?
I would touch it with a finger at first. I'm being reckless, but not that reckless.
All right, give me a percentile roll.
Oh. Okay, I'm not kidding. I got a straight 100. I can screenshot this if you want.
So,
In fact, I will because that never happens.
So you reach down and you touch this, silvery liquid and bluey silvery liquid, and it absolutely kind of it's a little bit more viscous. It's not like it runs through your fingers, but as you touch it and you pull your hand back, just the tip of your finger that you dipped into the water, as you pull, you watch in a matter of seconds as from the entirety of that amount of your skin that touched the liquid has grown 6 inches of hair. Like not like a single strand, but it's like a full on, like the end of a braid or the end of a shaggy tail. It's very bizarre at the end of your finger.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over to Ordo and just grateful that I didn't dip my whole hand in because hairy palms was not a joke that I wanted to deal with today. And I hold my hand out and I'm like, fix it.
There goes the next one I had queued up. Thanks.
I will pull out actual shears and a little. I pull out a small pouch that has several different sized combs, and I just have a very small fine comb. And did you want a little bit off the sides, a little off the top,
No,
a
please
trim?
just get rid of it. That you don't need hair on your fingers. I need to be able to feel things and hold a sword.
And I will pull out, I can't think of the name of the thing, but it's a little scraper dealy, like a razor, but not. But just kind of, and I will scrape away.
I don't even need a check here. You are proficient. So you managed
the barber
to
feet
quite excellently trim and shave the hair. Scissors to just chop off the long tendrils that fall to the ground, or do you collect them? What do you do with the trimmings?
You said it was 6 inches long, and so I basically shaved it. So I'm going to take what I trimmed off and just sort of really quickly and deftly just sort of put it into a little 6-inch braid, roll it up and tuck it into a vial that my beard will reach out, grab, and pull within its depths.
Sure.
And I would like to take one of my beard vials and extract some of this silvery liquid into a vial.
Absolutely. And I will go so far as to say, with the demonstration and with your knowledge, I will continue that check of a 21. So you have a vial, a tonic of hair growth, and as many vials as you have, you can fill. The pool is quite vast.
Can I get some of that IRL?
I am
If only.
never going to nat 100 again.
And you use it to grow hair on your finger.
I'm just gonna
That
take.
was amazing.
I'm just gonna take the one vial of it.
Sure.
You just never know when you might need it.
So if you're not familiar, the tonic of hair growth grows hair, or beard, wherever you're applying it, and it instantly grows 6 months worth of growth. With this particular pool, if you apply it somewhere that doesn't naturally grow hair, there is a 20% chance that it will still produce hair. So it can be given to a person who doesn't naturally grow hair. It can be given or put on a body part that does not naturally grow hair.
I would also like to collect some of this Rogaine.
Sure.
I want to find out what
Never
happens if someone
touching it
drinks
again.
it.
Say again, Frank.
I want to find out what happens if someone drinks it.
There's a 20% chance they will be growing hair in their esophagus.
And then what happens?
Well, you just better hope it doesn't get matted, because they're gonna have some breathing issues. Cough up some hairballs, no big deal.
If your hair is too short, you're tired of waiting for that patchy beard to come in, or you keep running afoul of fireballs scorching your coiffure, this is the perfect solution for you. Also remarkable for pranks and bewildering opponents.
After drinking it, my next
do
thought
not
was
ingest.
rafters to the fall.
So I honestly, as much liberty as you feel is justified, write down as many doses as you want. But there you go.
Doses.
As you finish your detect magic, there is faint ambient magic everywhere, but there is, as now should be quite obvious, a magical glow coming from the aforementioned pool of liquid, Joshua. And then whatever magic items happen to be glowing upon your party members, which is there.
I would like to take an action to figure out what school of magic said hair growth pool is.
And while you're looking that up,
I
I have
can
dumped
tell
out my
you that.
canteen, and I filled my canteen with hair growth tonic, so I don't have to cast a second level spell every day.
Sure.
Also, I want to roll a sleight of hand to see if I can stealthily take some of this hair growth stuff so that people don't notice.
So I would say it's probably enchantment. I think that makes the most amount of sense.
Okay. That makes sense to me too.
It's a bit partially divination, because it's divining how much hair you're going to grow in the next 6 months.
I don't think it's divining that. It's not predicting. It just does it. Sorry, gotta steal it from you.
It was worth a shot.
Sure. So over the next, half hour, as you guys are, detecting magic and collecting things and really collecting yourselves, you wind up. What was that?
I said science.
Could this have been a short rest as well to spend hit dice?
You absolutely can do a short rest here. A figure, or I should say a pair of figures, begin approaching. You see really the only other person you've met here is a half elf that seems to be at a distance, looks to be walking a dog, quite shaggy dog at that. But as it approaches, the creature at her side is very much not a dog, as it doesn't really.
Oh my God, Ted, is this a wig walker?
It is.
Yes.
She's either half elven or elven. You are not quite sure, but what looks to be a smallish dog, entirely made of hair, not much of a face, just kind of scurries along beside her. And as she approaches, you can see the studded leather armor, the easy gait of her walk. You can see the tips of the elven or half elven ears and the very neatly trimmed goatee done into a small braid decorated with a gem. And you can see that there's no aggression in her stance. She has not drawn any of the weapons that she has at her sides, but you do know that they are there. There's a dagger and a scimitar. And she calls out from a good 50 feet away. Greetings, travelers. Hail and well met. Not used to seeing travelers through this area. What brings you either to, and she gestures out wide here, but more importantly, and she gestures literally at your feet here. May I approach?
Please, to a more conversational distance. We are badly in need of directions.
So, she comes over. She introduces herself as Faris, and acting very much like a dog at her side. And it's even more perplexing up close as it kind of comes over and sniffs at the lot of you. It really looks to be nothing more than a giant pile of shaggy hair moving of its own accord. But after it sniffs all of you, Ordo the longest. I am Faris, and this is my companion Wiggy.
Who does
Greetings.
have that wet dog smell?
Dog? No, gods no. This is my wig.
It's still wet hair.
It's not wet at all.
May I pet him?
But
I wouldn't advise it.
I'm gonna you can't bring a dog into the game and me not pet it. I mean, it's a wig, but still same energy.
Dog
It
wig
is a
energy.
good boy and it's getting pet by me.
It absolutely, will jump up into your arms, and as you,
Oh my god, yes.
kind of pet it, it does everything that you would expect, and then it does what you don't expect as it climbs on top of your head.
Sure. So do you know the quickest way to the prime material plane from here?
So you are from there. I've been there a time or two. Truth be told, I prefer it much here. I frankly don't have much in the way of planar travel. I've used items in the aid of others, specifically to get here. But I would imagine the best way to return from whence you came. She points off in the distance where a vague, shadowy blur of a large structure appears. You would wish to speak to Lord Beard within the Bouffant, and there you might be able to find a way back.
Awesome. Well, you have my thanks.
You appear to have sustained some damage. Are you travelers that are unfamiliar with where you have landed and drawn upon the defenders of this realm?
You could say that.
Yeah, it was not intentional.
They didn't seem to have any issue with me whatsoever.
Well,
We had a bit of a bad hair day is all.
Well, if you keep yourself in presentable condition, they tend to leave you alone and just tend the ground. But you appear disheveled. They are quite upset, and truth be told, they're not really into caring about people. So she heals 14 to any of you that are damaged, if you still require such.
Well, it was
I'm
very
good.
gracious of you.
Frags, I think you're muted. Okay, now you're definitely mute. Okay, there
That's
you go.
because I was on the wrong screen. So
Yeah.
after using every one of my hit dice, I was still down like 8 or 6 or something like that. So
Same.
So we walk all the way to that place.
The Bouffant.
The Bouffant. Some might say it's a bulbous bouffant, but
Not me, though.
I'm just gonna start walking.
Oh, all right.
It's a long way off.
Walking.
it's about 4 days travel.
Oh,
Oh,
my.
geez. Okay.
With Joshua, it's probably about 6 days travel.
Any other questions that I might be asked before you head off?
What is there to eat around here? This
Um,
plant life looks very, yeah.
So if you have not brought food that you find to your liking, there are on a number of the to use your term trees. The Brabant fruit is the most palatable. I guess that might be a way to say it. They're a bit sweet, a bit nutty, and as you would expect, they're quite shaggy. You have to kind of shave off or cut off the outer layer. The fruit, if heated, tastes a little bit better. But if you aren't familiar, fire is a bit dangerous in a place like this, and God, the smell. So eating them raw is probably better if you're not willing to risk a hair fire.
Is there any kind of building material or anything like that around that we could have access to?
In regards to what? Are you looking to settle in and build a structure, or
More like a sled or something to drag.
well, I mean the trees at their core are fibrous. You could construct something if you decided to take some time.
Would the Guardians take issue with that?
They care more for the ground than the trees. So you just have to be careful as to how you go about constructing such a thing.
Thank you.
What are you plotting, Avtalk?
In order to hasten our journey, potentially making some sort of a sled and then summoning in this place, probably hairy steed rather than phantom steed to drag us to our destination.
Clever.
I have my moments. Few and far between, but I do have them.
Now I'm scheming as to whether or not I could cast Tensor's floating disc and you could all climb on top of it and I could ride your steed. And then your steed carries me and the disc follows behind.
Well,
And every time it goes out, we just recast
the disc only lasts an hour, but
Yeah, that's true.
believe me, I've thought about that kind of process in other campaigns. I'm like, can I do this and not worry about it? But
It's a casting time of 10 minutes. How long does the steed last?
Avtalk, you were
Looks like
tapped out.
yeah, it looks like the steed is also an hour,
And
but
is
it's a
it
ritual as well.
Is it a 10-minute cast as well?
I hate going back and forth between screens.
Oh,
I need another screen.
rituals, yeah, take 10 minutes.
So we could in theory do this. It's just, is it gonna be worth our while?
Every hour to stop for 10 minutes to do this.
Well, I mean, technically 11 because it's a 1 minute casting time.
I can summon a beast as an action that lasts for 1 hour.
I was gonna say, if we were walking, we would probably stop for 10 minutes every hour. I mean, like, I know if I were taking a hike in real life, I would not, like, walk for 3 hours straight and not stop for a couple minutes, just realistically speaking. So this probably would be saving us time ultimately.
All right, so this is what I'm going to
stop and smell the hairballs.
This is what I'm going to do here. You can finagle however you want to do this, but on day one, I'm going to roll a d4. Ordo, what do you encounter? What do you see? I want you to narrate today's actions.
Oh boy. Day one is we're walking along I think that one of the things that we see, this is a beard domain. This is or beard realm. This is a place where there's hirsute horrors that come out and vicious, for large amounts of damage to the air or to the ground. I imagine other creatures are adapted for similar purposes, but maybe passively. So as we're walking along, at some point, I just imagine behind us on the path that we walk, we're just ever so slightly disturbing the hairy ground, and coming up from between the strands of hair that are slightly disheveled are creatures that are probably roughly the size of like a rabbit or a badger or something like that. And they have these tails, instead of like a beaver that they're flat, their tails are naturally like a rake or a comb. And as we disturb the path, these creatures just sort of emerge out of the bush. Seems really inappropriate here, but and as they just cross our path, their tails just naturally comb the earth where we were. So yeah, that's one of the things I think that we see.
So if as I've kind of already explained in the chat, each of you are getting a day to kind of narrate. If somebody brings up something and any one of you want to kind of react of, well, when this happens, my character wants to do X, by all means, if one of these creatures come out and one of you wants to try and, encounter it, react to it, befriend it, what have you, we can absolutely get into that. So as these, rabbit, rodent, feline, lupine, whatever animals that, wind up appearing and just moving about and dealing with the ground that's being disturbed.
They're called brush hogs.
Brush hogs. I'm gonna have to write that down. I had a conversation with the other Nerdarchy guys, and nobody has done anything specifically in the beard domain. So this is our virgin voyage into it. So we now have new creatures. So you guys get to help create what's going on as I give all of you agency. So Frag, what's day 2 look like?
Couldn't figure out how to get it off mute. So day 1 was somewhat easy. Day 2 was a little more eventful, whereas we had helpful creatures on day 1. Whatever the beard equivalent of a woolly mammoth type creature, kindred spirit except for all the hair, like migration going by. And whereas we were having help keeping stuff clear, we had to spend some time hiding from the hirsute horrors or whatnot that would come and try and clean up the migration of these woolly creatures. I don't know what to call them.
Sure. So there is actually, I don't have it up there. So there are some larger things that are out there that are beyond your capacity, and I think it's a Crinsis spinner or something along those lines. That
sure,
it's something along those lines. But if you observed it in a distance, Ordo would be able to kind of pull you back. And
we are not high enough level to fight that thing.
Robin knows.
I wrote it.
You would be able to be like, look, we need to not approach and not seek out its ire.
And I don't think we had an issue with them necessarily, but we were having to dodge the things that nearly killed us. Well, Ordo and I beforehand as they were cleaning up the mess.
And that is because both of you failed your Christmas saving throw.
Only by a lot.
Yeah. Let's see, what was it? Yours was by 12, which is why you got targeted first. But Ordo failed by 5. The other two passed. They would have left Chess alone, but she actually attacked them. So,
I mean, they
Sure.
swung first.
Sure. So anything else on your day, Frag?
Nope, I think that's plenty.
Chessaline, what does day 3 look like?
So, as we're walking the rows, we start to notice that some of the hairs we pass seem to have almost growths on them, like these white football-sized lumps that have been affixed to the hairs as they bristle out of the ground. And as we're passing through, you start to notice these translucent insectoids that are about the size of oxen, just sort of like crawling between the hairs. And like they are full of this, like the same glowing liquid that we encountered on our first day here in the pool. And they cast bright light in a 10-foot radius around themselves and dim light for an additional 10. And in fact, as we go, we even see one of them pulling a comb cart being driven by a pair of bearded halflings that have their beards braided together and are sitting very closely on the seat as they're tending their little bit of farmland. In other words, lamp lice.
Oh, that's awesome. So do you attempt to gather any of these glowing creatures, or do you allow the halflings to go about their business pulling the comb and removing them for whatever reasons that they're doing so?
Oh no,
Lice
they're large. They're
harvesting.
not harvesting the eggs. They're using one of the lamp lice to pull their comb.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about like these orbs and the halflings are, never mind. All right, now I get it. Is there anything else that you encounter, that you see, that you fight?
No, that's all I got. The lamp lice are fairly docile.
Sure. Joshua, what does day 4 look like as you get closer and closer to this mountainous thing of hair, the bouffant, if you will?
so is the bouffant like up on a bluff or something, like a hill or something like that?
It is a mountain of hair.
Okay, it is full on. All right.
Do you know what a bouffant is?
Do I personally? I'm
Yeah.
gonna make myself sound stupid and say no.
I
okay.
believe it's like the Marge Simpson kind of deal.
Okay. As we're approaching, to one side of us, stretching out, for a vast distance, we see the hair-like ground begin to like stand on end, and like it is sort of flowing with a bit of wind, and as like this hair kind of peeks out and stands on end, it looks sort of like it's swaying like an ocean.
Mhm.
And we see things kind of flying above the ocean that they look like they might be some kind of bird, but as they kind of swoop closer or like dive through the hair like grass, you see that their wings are just fanned out, essentially like fanned out Ordo's beards.
I've got something very similar to this, so I will take your description and go a little bit further.
Perfect.
Was there something else that you wanted to do, or was this?
No, the ocean of hair was the main thing I wanted to get at.
All right, so as you've got the ocean of hair to your right and this bouffant in front of you, you watch, not from flying over the ocean, but actually almost coming from behind as the sky begins to darken, and it is moving with great speed in your direction, and you all quicken your pace and try to get into shall we say, the mountain or into the hair to find whatever or whoever this Lord Beard happens to be. And as the creatures, because it does appear that there are a vast number of creatures, begin moving your way, as they are nearly upon you, they do not come down and attack you, but it is definitely unnerving to see the swarm of flying mustachios assault you from all sides as you rush into the bouffant. So to better explain it, they are all flying mustaches.
Yeah. I like it.
We must
I like
quickly
it
hide.
too.
Saruman spies are everywhere.
And that was put to me as a challenge by Dave. And as you know, if you look forward in the future at somewhere on the Nerdarchy website will be the Mustachio Swarm, which is a converted swarm of bats into a beardomantic monstrosity.
That's pretty awesome.
I mean, my first day's thing was going to be something to do with like a pterodactyl flying type creature. So I'm glad I went with the woolly mammoth type one instead.
So
Right.
the vast unexploredness of the actual beard dimension continues to have new things appear. But you have found yourself safely away from the Mustachio Swarm and are now safely within the bouffant. Whether that is for good or for ill, you know not yet. But you are inside and you have no light.
Oh,
We should have gotten one of those larva things. Whatever they were.
Well, you don't know if they would have stayed so docile if we'd messed with their eggs.
That's true.
Is there like something I can knock on in here to like announce our presence?
So you have not tested the walls. The ground is the same squishiness that it's been for the entire time. One can hope that when Ordo leaned against the tree, it was basically felt as solid. Maybe the outside gave a little bit, but it did feel like tree.
So like try knocking on it.
So it doesn't have the same resonance as you would expect knocking on a wall of wood or a wall of stone or even a wall of metal. But there is definitely a bit of a dulled thunk, as there is solid, whatever it is, within the inner layers of this bouffant.
Oh, maybe I could try plucking it like a string.
Mm. So you give that a try, and that definitely resounds much better, and you wind up hearing it kind of echo throughout the cavern, and seems like you've got the a winding as it kind of goes up in a circle as you kind of venture further in, almost like an ascending staircase on a curve.
Cool.
So we're making ourselves known then.
It does appear so.
Well, I mean, we're here to ask for help, not start trouble.
In that case, I will cast thaumaturgy so that I can say, "Hello, Lord Beard. We've come asking questions." Look at everyone else to see if I'm asking the right questions.
Parlay.
So about 50 foot, down the corridor, the cavern, a small creature just appears. It's definitely, it's not like it walked around the corner. It literally manifests into the space. And if you took,
Goblin.
if you were to take a small sized creature and made it entirely out of hair, but have it, instead of wings, it's kind of like more latched out towards the sides of the cavern that's kind of hanging there. And it greets you. It's like, you have come to see the master. What is it that you require?
Is that you?
What?
Are you the Lord Beard?
Like, what you can see of its eyes, like, grow four sizes bigger. No, you have come to see the master. I am the servant of the master.
Okay. We need help getting back to the prime material plane.
What's at the prime material plane?
Home?
Yeah, everything that we know. Not beards.
We had a bit of a slight arcane mishap and ended up here quite on accident.
But you're in the beard dimension. That's the best place ever.
Oh, and it has been lovely, but I'm afraid its magnificence is a little bit overwhelming for us in large doses.
All right. Well, I will tell you this: if you approach Lord Beard and you come with malice or grievance or issues, he will probably eat you.
Well, that is good to know. Fortunately, we don't come with malice or grievance or issues.
Are you sure? And the closest thing that its facial structure, can be to a glare, as it, challenges your words.
I smile. Oh, I'm quite positive.
Okay. And it kind of detaches its wing-like arms and drops down to the ground. This way, I guess.
I like this creature.
Although you should make sure your razors are stowed away.
Just for bookkeeping reasons, we've had 3 long rests, roughly.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're looking to, get those hit dice back, that's absolutely correct.
Definitely not on my mind at all.
Yeah, it feels like we want to keep very close record of that.
You traverse up and up. You're walking up. At times it's actually stairs, and times it's more of just a like an elevated ramp, and almost like it's toying with the fact that you're not used to this place. But eventually you open into a large room where you kind of step back down 10 feet, and you can see that there is a vast light, a hole coming from above, shining much more light into this place than you were seeing down below. There's a vast cavern. There's not a huge amount of treasure, but there is definitely a treasure pile. And at first it's not obvious to see what is in here, because so far the walls, the floor, the ceiling, everything seems to be made out of the same auburn color hair.
Ted, are we about to encounter a bearded dragon?
You absolutely encounter a very large presence that, if you were to say it's a draconic-esque creature, you would not be far off, as its serpentine, shaggy neck rises off of the ground, and you see the very long, pristine beard coming down from its face. You could imagine that there's like the tips of shaggy ears poking out of its fur, and it raises its head and looks in your direction. And, little one, what have you brought to me now? And the mustache covers the mouth. You hear the voice quite loudly, almost to the point that it hurts your ears in this very resonant chamber. But you don't see any teeth, as the hair covers everything, or maybe it doesn't have teeth. You aren't quite sure.
Oh my god, like a whale with the filtered mouth. That's really cool.
Baleen.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a Dolly Parton song?
I think it's Jolene.
Baleen.
All right, somebody has to write that now. Weird Al's next parody. So you have the little creature. I was like, it's travelers. They said they want to go home. They agreed that if they're here to bring malice, that you're allowed to eat them. They said it.
We didn't quite say that, but we don't bring malice.
Well, I am Lord Beard. I kind of control the territory in this place. There are others who attempt to rival, but at least for the time being, you're in the domain where I control. You are here by accident, you say.
Yes.
Please explain.
Well, where we come from, there's a bit of an arcane kerfuffle going on in which the natural order of magic has been quite disrupted. And we have been doing our level best to help fix this disruption, but part of doing so has been utilizing teleportation here and there to get all hither tither to where we need to be in order to do that in the first place. And this time when we tried to do so, I think must have hit some bit of magical turbulence. I'm not 100% sure what happened, but I do know that we ended up in the in-between for a time, and as we were tumbling through, our resident beardomancer Ordo here was clever enough to bring us to this magnificent place. But unfortunately, as lovely as it is, and as much as we would like to linger here, we do have a responsibility to finish what we started. We gave our word.
Hey, giving one's word is an important thing. Even though you do, operate so with a disadvantage. It looks to Avtok and to Ordo. Does Joshua have a beard?
Good question. So over the last few days, you might notice that Joshua's grown out a bit of stubble. Maybe a little more so than should have happened over 4 days.
Well, if you would have applied any of the tonic, it would have been 6 months worth of growth. That doesn't.
Can I was thinking like he was just doing like the tiniest bit possible.
Diluted it.
Maybe he's
but
also one of those people that just doesn't grow facial hair easily.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't grow body hair at all very quickly.
Okay. So go ahead and give me your choice. You can do percentile or D20. Tell me what you're rolling and what you get.
Okay. I'm gonna do percentile.
All right.
Just one?
Yep.
Okay, I got a 36.
36. All right. So you've got a good beard growing. It doesn't have length, but you've got, kind of an elegant start, shall we say.
It's kind of like with the beard I actually own.
I would say, yeah, about that. If you've gone through the process of like, I want to dilute this so it goes slow and not like, oh, I want the full on, raw beard. That's the way to go about doing it. It required some experiment, of like, oh, well, let me put a little bit here and I put a little bit there because this was, definitely getting patchy. But it required some finagling, some figuring out over the days, and doing it with some subtlety or some subterfuge to not let your allies know what you're trying to do. But it's there.
All right.
So it doesn't require a roll. You can definitely see, Chess, that you're kind of being put at a disadvantage, or you're kind of being slightly dismissed. In this place. Take that as a slight or not, as you see fit.
That's okay.
Does Chess still have Wiggy?
Oh, I wouldn't have stolen that woman's wig.
No. What's her name? Faris. Faris would not have left without Wiggy. So I would imagine that Ordo being identified as the resident beardomancer and having the most of the magnificent beard of any of you. This draconic creature, Lord Beard, does kind of look past you to, again, not a role necessary. His interpretation of, obviously, Ordo is your your leader, your commander, and he gives you his full attention there, Ordo. So you have been identified as one who draws upon this place. You are here. Do you truly wish to leave now that you are home?
I look at this beard dragon entity.
Beard dragon fits. It works.
This beard dragon, and I draw myself to my full dwarven height as I stand properly and upright, chin slightly out. You can see now my beard girding is smoothly covering my beard as I bow deeply before the beard dragon. Truly, it is a magnificent place to be, and were it on any other such occasion, I should find myself longing to stay. But we, myself and my companions, have made a commitment on the material plane to return the arcane traditions. And it is that reason only, because I am honor-bound to my friends and to my realm, that we seek to leave this magnificent place.
Well, it is sad when one can find themselves in a perfect place, feels the compulsion to leave. But I am not a ungenerous person. I can settle for allowing you to leave and helping you to get there, and we can figure out exactly where it is you wish to go. I can send you on your way and perhaps leave a little of this place with you. And just as the Hirsute Horrors did, where they had the overall structure of a humanoid with arms and legs, the body discomport, the hair follicles can discomport and operate in any number of limbs that is necessary. So it's a little bit weird when you've identified this is the thing's back, there's the four arms, that kind of looks like wings, and strands of hair kind of just come off of its body and begin kind of going over towards the the treasure pile. And 3 items wind up being presented to the lot of you in this very Auburn-esque kind of setting. The dirty blonde and Area's blonde of the dragon seem to stand out a little bit more, but the ring that is made of like platinum gold hair stands out as it almost shines in this kind of presence. It looks like a couple of braids of hair, very fine, very, very thin, are like woven next to each other, loosely connected, but it seems to have formed a ring that's sized more for you than anyone that would be in this place. there is a ball, a round sphere no larger than 2 or 3 inches across, that seems to be made of nothing but hair, just kind of affixed to each other, very frayed, very messy. And then the last is a gem that seems to gleam in several different colors. You aren't quite sure, doesn't seem to identify any gem any of you are familiar with. I mean, the closest it would be an opal, but it's definitely not an opal. These are gifts from Lord Beard, so that you might better remember this place and to return to this place when your mission is done, should you either have call to be in perfection again, or perhaps there might be something else that is needed of this place. But come, let us attempt to find out where you belong. And after you've collected the items, we're going to do a skill challenge here, and you guys can tell me how each of you are assisting in figuring out your way back to the material plane. Who wants to go first?
Ordo will step forward and will use his beard. For this skill challenge, he will actually reach up and unfasten the beard girding from in front of his beard, allowing his full beard to be displayed to this beard dragon. And basically Ordo's beard will attempt to perform or describe our realm by moving. Picture like shadow puppetry type, like cutouts and stuff, but the beard is forming into these shapes and sort of creating these little beard animations and trying to describe the realm as Ordo sort of narrates what our place is, and the beard becomes this sort of living puppet show of follicles.
All right. So what check are you rolling here?
I feel like it's gotta be a performance check.
All right, let's go for it.
I check my performance stat. It's not bad. All right. Okay, here we go. I got my die. Wait. Rub it in my beard. There we go. Well, my beard do amazing things when it comes to dice. But unfortunately, that power's not working tonight. I rolled a 2 for a total of 6 on my performance.
Can he have
skill.
one of my inspirations?
If you wish to give him an inspiration, sure.
I do, because I liked your performance.
It is a very good description.
Just because we like it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work with the story. But
Either way, the dice will know.
Well,
But give the dice another chance to
I feel like
make a
this.
decision.
I feel like this is really telling and playing with fate that I rolled so low, and the person giving me their inspiration has such a history of rolling poorly.
Don't worry, I'll roll fine on mine.
With your inspiration, I was able to change that 2 into a 23.
Heck yeah.
Woo!
all right. So you begin to narrate and then puppet. And again, going back with the element of where we first started with your beard doing things that you aren't quite sure. And then we look again at the moment where the beard kind of like pulls at your collar and points to the ground. It seems like your beard is doing things that you aren't really telling it to do. And there are elements that almost seem to like speak to a lot of you where you aren't even sure what the beard is saying at this point in time or describing, visually. But the dragon certainly seems to be responding to what the beard is doing. For good or for ill, you're not quite sure. This is definitely a creature you are having a hard time interpreting its thoughts and its actions. Who's next?
Go.
All right, Jess.
Okay, so I am going to use history to add details like grounded concrete. These are things that were happening like while this was going on to the show that Ordo is putting on, just like little factoids and such, and I got a 19 total.
All right. Is there anything that you want to specifically put into that history, or you just want to leave it, as
I am definitely trying to I'm not trying to get too specific because I don't feel like the bearded dragon will care too much. And also I know that I am not the favorite person here.
Sure. And I hope that you're not taking insult by
Oh no, not at all.
All right. So
just realizing less is more.
I do believe Avtok, you were raising your hand as well.
I was also planning on using history, but I'm assuming I can't now.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I have another one I can do.
All right. What
is Joshua doing? Crap. What's it called? Arcana?
Nope.
Okay. Then I will attempt to, rather than look into the weave of magic, look into the braid of magic here. And what's going on with Chess and Ordo has triggered a dream that I had, and I am helping to direct the proper places for the certain things, and will use my portent of 13 to give me a dirty 20.
Okay. So you had this, vision where you thought, you must have been in darkness. You must have had light in weird places. But as you are now standing in this place with, your own, magical lights kind of flickering around the chamber, glistening off of the treasure, these weren't shadows that you were interacting with, but you were interacting with this bizarre dragon. And the dreams, the portents, the visions that you have, you don't always understand until you're in that moment. But you saw yourself describing an element of magic that you felt is like the foundation of your teaching. You looked back to when you were studying magic, and your teacher told you that this is the beginning. Without this, you aren't here. You aren't able to attach yourself to this world's magic. And that is where you describe, that is where you brought these descriptions, this kind of almost arcane formula to the table. Joshua.
While everyone else is doing their thing, Joshua will sit down and pull the little book out of his breast pocket, the tiny little book that he's been jotting names down in, and he'll start to flick through pages, and he'll come across a name he wrote down, Orgrov, who was a half-orc that he met in a bar, and he never actually spoke to the orc. The only reason he got its name is because the orc drank from a tankard with its name emblazoned on it. And so he made a little note, and now he's using that person and their true name as a way of anchoring them to a place. Because he remembered that bar wasn't too far away from the mage's college area.
I will say that the true name is gotten when someone speaks their name from their own lips. They identify. So just having it written somewhere doesn't give it to you, but
Ah,
perhaps you overheard in conversation. Perhaps there was a heated argument, and the person is like, you will not best Orgrov here. And
so
you
I'm
heard.
I'm gonna pitch this. I'm gonna roll my dice because if I roll low, it wasn't actually his name. And,
Okay, all right. So what?
and I'm also using insight.
Oh, okay, all right. I was gonna say, what are you rolling?
Before he rolls, I'm really tempted to just give him a 4.
I mean, okay. I'm gonna
I'm
use
kidding, I'm
my
not gonna do it.
inspiration because I have it. Because I didn't roll great. Okay, so that's a 17.
All right.
So
So
if
the
that
question-
succeeds, then yeah, I will have picked it up through somebody saying it out loud.
So the question is, Frag, do you want to give him your 4?
He rolled before I said it, so
All right. So as you go through, and it's a quite a lengthy process, and there is literally times during this that the dragon like reaches out to you with these hair follicles and kind of connecting to each of you, and it's really bizarre as there's this almost coordinated, not quite dance, but almost, as the hairs of this dragon begin having all of you move your arms. You're almost being
marionettes.
You're almost being puppeted, marionetted to this arcane ritual.
I hate it.
And you see kind of appearing upon the ground, in a circle around all of you, just outside of this dragon's space. It made sure before you started that everybody had done everything that you wanted to do here. You had picked up all the things that you wanted. You asked all the questions that you wanted, and that you were being returned to where and almost when you wanted. And you watch as all of you kind of begin to drift up. You don't feel like you're being lifted off the ground by the hair, but you almost like you're floating. And the hairs, one by one, you watch as it slowly begins to come away from you, as each of the hair is being removed from the area of this circle. And the lights grow dim, and the area around you begins to fade. You don't feel the pulling sensation that you've had in the other teleports that you've had before. But everything goes black as you're used to seeing. And a light appears in the distance. And as you begin moving towards it without any sensation of movement, almost as if you're in blackness and the light is being drawn towards you, and the light becomes a speck, and that speck becomes a spot. And before you know it, you wind up seeing, you swear, it's the moving feet of Esperanza as you are pulled into what you can only surmise as the teleport that started a little over 4 days ago. And you watch as the 5 of you land within the council chambers, with you apparently having about 4 days of extra time. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
I definitely want to go back there.
So
I
Avtalk,
don't.
go ahead. Avtalk will be like, I know we haven't been adventuring together long, and no offense, Ordo, but that was the hairiest thing I'd ever done, and I don't want to do it again.
So, as always, down in the description, you will find the links to these amazing people, as well as the link to our sponsor, Easy Roller Dice, because they make awesome dice, and I'm happy to make sure that everybody out there knows that as well. I will throw out there that December is a crazy month for everybody, holidays and traveling and whatnot. So we always, here in the Chaos Crew with this particular group of amazing individuals. We take the month off. So we will be back sometime in January to continue. We'll have a conversation to find out when that next session is, what these illustrious people are going to be doing in their next adventure, what arcane vessel they're going to go after next, so that we can properly plan, properly plot. I hope everybody had a little fun jaunt into the beard dimension. And you know the drill. You can say it with me if you want. Until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay
Stay
nerdy.
nerdy.
Nerdy. Go to the beard dimension, Ted said. It'll be fun, Ted said.